Welcome to our live stream of high school sports. Please note that this broadcast is produced by an independent team of sports enthusiasts, and the views, opinions, and commentary expressed are solely those of the commentators and not representative of the schools, teams, or athletes featured. While we strive for accuracy, occasional errors or misstatements may occur. This stream is intended for entertainment and educational purposes only. Thank you for joining us and enjoy the show.
Yeah, come on, let's go. Hey, you ain't never seen nothing like this. Ain't no telling how it might get. It's the hypest right here. High school sports at its finest. So many highlights, you have to rewind it. Hey, Stream City, let me just remind you. The heart of a lion, a team full of fighters. So many stars on the field, it'll blind you. They're giving everything they got till the time's up. Yeah, legends in the making. History is made. We just getting started. You ain't seen a thing. YSN, gotta know the name. They gon' bring the flames. They gon' do their thing. Take it to another level, don't hold back. High school, got a passion and we show that. Got the drive and you know they got the heart. Number one spot for your high school sports. Let's go for the win. Hey.
And hello, everybody. Welcome inside a great edition of Wrestling Wednesday. We're always joined by Gary Altizer. He'll be here soon, along with our special guest, who will join us at 12:15 with Gary Altizer to talk all things wrestling that went on over the weekend, especially those EOWL tournaments, of course, at Austintown Fitch. We'll go over those results when Gary gets in at about 12:15. And we also have a very special guest today at 12:15 coming on with us. Landon Durston from Southeast will be with us 12:15. You don't want to miss it. That's when Wrestling Wednesday kind of kicks off today. We want to obviously thank them both for their time. It would not be the coverage that we have of wrestling without Gary Altizer. And although he couldn't be here for the start of the show today, we know that he is putting in a lot of work and dedication to our coverage of wrestling. So while we wait for Gary Altizer and the start of Wrestling Wednesday, let's go over the scores from last night on the basketball court. We had plenty of action go down on both sides of the court, girls and boys, two girls basketball games that happened last night. First, the doubleheader in Sebring, I should say tripleheader because the boys still had a JV, kicked off with Lowville on the girls' side, getting the 37-31 win over the Trojans. Lowville, obviously numbers are a little bit down and they have an injury, so they're finding ways to win these close games. And they did it again last night. There's two close wins in a row for Lowville, 37-31. They're relying on their defense, doing a pretty good job at it. On the other girls' game that happened last night, Pymachining Valley gets the 41-29 win over Ashley Beulah St. John to wrap up our girls' basketball from last night. Now, the boys seen much more numbers-wise, much more boys' basketball games as we kick it off with Badger getting the 64-51 victory over Lordstown. Lordstown's gain in force is about 25 points away from 1,000, so he'll be getting it very, very soon. He's sitting at 975, and he'll look to try to get it next week as they have two games next week, I believe, in Lordstown. Matthews goes to Grand Valley, and the Mustangs get the win 71-53, your final score there. As we go on, Orange goes on the road to Harvey, and Harvey gets the win over the Lions 62-41, your final score. Archbishop Hoban travels to Youngstown, and they prove why they're the big boys in town. They storm the castle in Ursuline. 84-65 is your final score. They hit 12 threes as a team. They really went off from beyond the arc and did enough on defense to slow down Ursuline. I mean, I know 65 normally. That's not like a great day at the office defensively. You hold Ursuline to 65. Well, you're doing something right. We go into the AAC, Austintown Fitch. They are able to get the 7-point win over Howland, 57 to 50, the final score there. Also in the AAC, Boardman gets the road trip to Warren Harding. And although Harding had been on the wrong end of some close games, not too long ago, they get on the right end of the close game this time as they beat Boardman 41-40, the final score there. Brookfield travels to Liberty, and the Warriors tempo way too much for the Leopards, 63-40, the final score there. Waterloo cannot handle the Red Devils as Campbell comes to Atwater and gets the 54-31 win over the Vikings. St. John is able to get the win over Middlefield Cardinal, 56-45, the final score in that one. Champion travels to Garfield, and Garfield's offense all over it, 81-65, a big score for the G-Men as they wrap up that MVAC win over Champion. A great one in Wellsville. Maybe Gary can talk about this one a little bit too after Wrestling Wednesday because he was on the call for this Wellsville game. 61-60, Wellsville gets the up 63-60, I should say. I flipped those. 68-63. Columbiana gets the win over Wellsville. I'm sorry, I saw that 8 as a 0. 68-63. Columbiana does get the win over Wellsville. A very good fight put up by the Tigers. Perry gets the win over Geneva, 71-62, the final score in that one. Gerard travels to Lakeview, and at the buzzer, the Bulldogs pull off the win, 61-60. You can find a highlight of that final play on all of our social media accounts. It's a good one. You don't want to miss it. Go check it out. This win for Lakeview officially eliminates Gerard from any contention. But they're still very dangerous. We talked about them yesterday, and Lakeview starting to get hot at the right time. We talked about those teams that put it together right before tournament time. Tournament draw for the boys is next Sunday, a week from Sunday. The girls' draw is this Sunday. And Lakeview looking like maybe a dangerous team you don't want to mess with. Who knows? Isaiah Lance dropped 37 last week, and he was up for big dogs, and they're doing a lot of good things in Cortland. Heartland Christian makes the road trip to Youngstown to Cardinal Mooney, and they get the win over Mooney, 67-54, your final score in that one. Newton Falls and LeBray playing a really big MVAC matchup. LeBray is able to get the win, though, over the Tigers, 69-63, your final score. Latonia travels East Palestine in the EOAC as the Bulldogs get the 70-65 win. Excuse me. And as we continue the scoreboard, not done yet. Sebring and Lowville all over the Trojans, 74. Excuse me, 74-19, the final score there. McDonald able to get the win over Middle Ridge. This was one. Sean Elwood was on the call, very close to start, but then McDonald. Excuse me again. McDonald went on a run. They kind of took it over from there. Blue Devils get the 68-51 win over Middle Ridge. Poland returned home after their big win against South Range. They took care of Niles 71-35, the final score there. As Wyndham cannot handle Rootstown at home. 56-28 was the final score in that one. Salem was able to go on the road at Beaver Local, but Owen Hill makes a glorious return to the floor at Beaver Local, and he helps the Beavers smack down Salem 79-58, the final score there. Southeast on the road in Crestview as the Rebels cannot handle the Pirates, 51-25, your final score. Southeast, remember, very much alive in that MVAC gray tier discussion. United gets to win over Southern Local last night, 57-31. And the MVAC Scarleteer, Jackson Milton, hosting Springfield. The Tigers get the big win on the road, 58-31 your final score. West Branch on the road at East, it is 46-38 Warriors with the win on the road. We go to JFK. They took on Hubbard on the road, and Hubbard gets the big 20-point victory, 55-35 your final score there. A big third quarter for Lisbon lifts them over Valley Christian with a 55-37 win for the Blue Devils. The South Range Struthers game was very entertaining. It never really got out of hand, but South Range was able to keep their distance just enough to kind of come away with a 58-49 win over the Wildcats. East Liverpool welcoming in Canfield, and the Cardinals are all over this one. 79-36 the final score. Tough one for the Potters, as Canfield was clicking on all cylinders, and when they're clicking like that, just really hard to stop. We saw Pymatuning Valley have their girls in action at home. Their boys were on the road. They traveled to Fairport Harding, and this Fairport team is no slouch in boys basketball. If you don't know about the Skippers in the boys basketball world, you better get to know them. There's, I think, the second time this year on our scoreboard against the YSN team, they've dropped to over 100. 106-69. The final score, the Skippers beat Pymatuning Valley. In PA, we have a couple of scores as Beaver went on the road to Quaker Valley, and Quaker Valley gets the win over the Bobcats 55-30. And then Mohawk on the road at Aliquippa, and they actually get the win on the road 59-37 your final score. So our PA teams split two matchups in the games yesterday. So those are your scores from last night. If you missed any or want to check them out, the scoreboard on YSN Live is brought to you by Burnett Pools, Spas, and Hot Tubs, and it can be found at ysnlive.com/scores. Some of the things that I want to talk about this scoreboard as we kind of wrap up our coverage of last night. I think the biggest game of the night, the one that everyone was watching, was the Hoban-Ursuline game. I said it before, Hoban hit 12 threes on the night. Jalen Gunther and Noah Bell both did their part, but they were slowed down just enough, right? Like, they're usually scoring more than 30. They were both under 30 barely this time around. As we look at kind of how things went, I'm going to go look at the line score real quick from this game. First quarter, it was 14-12. Hoban had a big second quarter, 20-12. They win the second. Big third quarter as well, 26-17. So right in the middle of the game, you can see Hoban start to take control of it. The fourth quarter was even, 24-24. But by then, Ursuline was down by 17-19. So they had to make up some ground. They couldn't. They ended up losing by 19. You look at the stats from the game. Jalen Gunther had 28. Noah Bell finished with 25. For Hoban, though, a little bit of balance, right? They had 3 players in double figures and one just outside of double figures. So Nico Capoletti had 15. Lance Richardson had 15. You see John Johnson have 11. And then right outside double digits was Brady Lucy with 9. They also got contributions from Ethan Yukish with 8. So Hoban proving that balance can be a really good offset to a team that has 2 really big superstars that can kind of go off, because Ursuline got theirs with Jalen Gunther and Noah Bell, but you look outside of them, 2 points, 5 points, 3 points, 2 points. No one was really able to contribute outside of those 2 for Ursuline. So I've always liked the strategy of when a team has players that are almost unstoppable, like you're not going to really stop them from scoring. I think some teams get into the bad habit of like putting all their eggs. We got to slow these people down. We've seen people do it to Crestview. We've seen people do it to Ursuline. In the past, we saw people do it to Ursuline girls with Dayton and Harris. You put all your nuggets into got to slow these people down, got to stop them. And then what happens is the contributors actually do enough to get the win. Sometimes you just got to say, hey, you're going to get yours, but we're going to make sure that your supporting cast can't really help you out that much, and then we're just going to outscore you on the other end. Sometimes that's really what it boils down to. You got to be able to do that. That's what Hoban did. Their high score had 15, right? Ursuline's high score had 28, but they had 2 with 15, 1 with 11, 1 with 9, 1 with 8. So what? Three in double figures, two right outside double figures. So that's 5 players that are kind of continuously getting into that stat column. Ursuline had 28, 25, and then a bunch of 2, 4, 3. They just could not get that supporting cast rolling, and that's why they couldn't keep up with Hoban's tempo. Obviously, Hoban, very good basketball team, so Ursuline is still very capable. This doesn't expose anything. This isn't like panic button time for Ursuline. This is a very good opportunity for the Irish to test themselves, kind of expose some holes maybe, see what they need to look at film. When they make, I'm going to say win because it's going to happen. When they make a deep tournament run, they can look back at games like this, games like Gilmore Academy. They can have tangible evidence on film that they can look at and say, here are some of our things that we need to make sure we stay away from deep in tournament time when we play teams that are of the caliber of Gilmore Academy, of the caliber of Hoban. What can we do to stay away from these things that were kryptonite against those type of teams, and make sure that we have the opportunity to go and win? Because I think talent-wise, Ursuline is absolutely a state championship caliber team. I don't think that's any breaking news. So when they have games like this where they fall short, it's good for them. I know it's old cliche. We want to learn from a loss, and no one wants to lose. You will go out there, you want to win. But I think a really good thing about a championship team is how they can learn, how much they can learn from a loss, how much they can bounce back and kind of gather information from the losses that they do have to make it a tool for positivity and a tool for a run, right? So Ursuline's going to have to do that. They have a couple of losses this year against really good opponents. When the season's over, can they go into the lab, look at those films, and say, hey, let's fix these things. It's not a lot of things. Let's just kind of fine-tune. And that way, when we go up against a team that's that caliber in tournament, we're ready to go. You're going to have to score to beat Ursuline, that's for sure. Even on a quote-unquote slow night, they scored 65. So if you think you're going to just defend Ursuline in the tournament, more power to you. I wish you the best of luck. I'm not necessarily a high believer in that strategy, but hey, stranger things have happened. They say defense wins championships, but I don't know. That one, you're going to have to just defend enough against Ursuline. They've kind of proven this year that they're going to get their points, and you're going to have to score to beat them. You look at their loss, I'd have to double check their schedule, but I think their losses, no one has beaten them without at least 75 points on the scoreboard. So you're not going to win by, scoring 50 points. You got to score to beat Ursuline. Hoban has scores. That's why they were able to go into Ursuline. Play good enough defense. Yes, I talked about, their defense on the secondary scores. But also, obviously, they had to score. They had to score a lot. And they put a lot of pressure on Ursuline by scoring 12 threes beyond the arc. That'll do it. Some other scores. How about this Wellsville Columbiana game? 68-63. Wellsville and Columbiana doing battle. Wellsville put up a big fight, and they just couldn't get it done. We're still waiting for Gary, but while we're just going to bring in our special guest because we are past the 12:15 time, and we want to be a good steward of the time of Landon. So without further ado, we go into Southeast. We go into Ravenna. The Pirates are having a great wrestling season, and man, is this man kind of leading the charge for the Pirates. He had a great weekend in the EOWL, runner-up in the 190. Here we are. We are joined by Landon Durston from Southeast. Landon, how are we doing, buddy? Thanks for coming on.
Good. How are you?
Man, this has been such a strong wrestling season for you guys so far. Talk about what's kind of been the highlight of it and what's been the driving force and success so far this year for not just you, but this whole Southeast program.
It's like our team, in the room, works super, super hard. It's I'd say we're probably the hardest working room in all of Ohio. It's been pretty special to watch like a lot of transfers come to Southeast because like they see what we're building and it's special, and I'm happy that like I'm leaving and like seeing that something's building here because like without me and Dom and Braden and Trevor, I don't think that the team would be where it's at right now because I feel like especially with like Dom's success, like placing fifth at state, he kind of like put people on like watch with like people coming to Southeast.
You talk about the great room, and we ask every wrestler that comes on every week this about the drill partners that they have. Who's your drill partner? Who pushes you the most in that wrestling room to kind of make you as good as you are?
I work a lot with our 175 James Miller. He's a young dude. He's a sophomore. He used to wrestle and then he quit for a while and now he's back. But he's going to be very good in the next couple of years. And I also work out with a lot of our coaches, Micah Coleman, Cody Kuntz, who is a state runner-up 4 years ago. He's been working with me a lot. And then especially our head coach, Shane Kuber. I work with him all the time. Yeah.
You talked about the success even last year that this program has had. It really raises the bar for expectations and things that you want to do. What were some of the goals you set for this year? What are some of the expectations and things that you wanted to accomplish this season in the program?
Well, our main goal is to win a team state title. I think that this year our team will for sure have 5 kids placing at state. And like I 100% believe that like my true goal is like to win state this year. I was dealing with an injury earlier in the season, so I haven't been wrestling that great. But I felt like EOWL, that's the best I felt. And but I'm like my conditioning's still not there. But 100% like I think that we're gonna place 5 kids in the top 5 at state.
Let's talk about that EOWL weekend. Obviously, that is a tournament that brings a lot of pride in. I think wrestlers kind of circle that one every year. It's one that they can put on their resume when they are able to do well there. What was working so well that weekend? They got you all the way to that championship match. And what do you think was feeling so good for you that particular weekend?
It was like my diet leading up to EOWL. Like I've been cutting weight a lot better. Going from like a 205 pounds cutting all the way down to 190. It's a big cut. So like just like my nutrition and all that. And then like after weighing, we've been trying to get like our whole team's like a nutrition right. So and then I just felt during my matches I was just like moving my feet better, working from space, and then it like showed because I pinned almost like everybody that I wrestled. And of course in the finals I just came up short. I wrestled kind of dumb, tied up with him, and then he ended up just hitting like a couple slide bys, and that was it.
It's great that you're talking about diet and cutting weight because we bring on Gary Altizer, who is our wrestling guru, and he's a guy that always loves asking the question. You know, cutting weight's not always the fun thing, but when you get your weight in and you're at the number you are, everyone likes to have that big meal or that kind of treat yourself for making the weight that you have to make. What's that for you? What's your after weigh-in meal that you like to eat after you know that you've cut the weight that you need to cut?
So I do it's like a water and it has like a bunch of like electrolytes in it. It's like liquid IV, and then I have like a peanut butter jelly, and then right before my match, like 30 minutes before, we do a tablespoon of honey on a rice cake or like some bread, and then we eat that because that's like instant energy, like just right before a match. And then especially for like the way out, like we have to watch what we're eating and like not enough water or like not too much water. I mean, because if we do, like we'll end up having to cut weight at the end of the tournament. That's not fun.
Landon, you said your team, you think they're the hardest working team in the state in the practice room. Why do you think that's the case? What sets the tone to make that possible? Because you got to have everybody buy in to make a statement like that.
Yeah, 100%. Everybody's bought into our team's like culture. Everybody, it's like a family. It's like this is the only year like I've ever felt like this team like we work way harder than everybody else, and it shows. Like we had 5 kids in the EOWL, or we had 4 kids in the EOWL finals, and then we had 5 kids who placed. I think that just us working hard, it just shows 100%.
You know, cultures aren't built without leadership, and obviously you're not the only leader on this floor. You have other seniors that are kind of helping you lead this program. But when you talk about your leadership, what kind of leader do you try to be? What kind of leader do you kind of think you are on this team?
I just try to be like one of the guys that like anybody can go to. I try to be like a stern leader sometimes when like things aren't going like the right way in the room. And I just think that like everybody should just be treated the same, like no matter if like you're a first year starting out as a freshman or you've been wrestling your whole life, like me and Dom. Um, Especially like me and Dom, like we are like the two leaders in the room. And then honestly, Gavin Cantera, our 144, he's a big leader. Obviously, he's ranked second in the state, so he's very, very good, and everybody looks up to him because everybody looks up to each other because they know that people are better at other things than each other.
Tell us about the coaching staff there at Southeast. You guys really taken some big steps recently. You got big goals for the postseason. You've got 4 guys that got to the finals at the EOWL. What is it about this coaching staff that has pushed you guys to this level?
They just want us to like succeed no matter what. Shane Kuberry, he's been pushing us a lot in the room. He's like one of like the main driving factors for our team's like success. He has totally changed just the whole wrestling like in like the program. He's just changed it all around because like we had a different coach my 8th grade year, and then coming up that coach just resigned, and then we were like, oh, like who's gonna be our head coach? And then this random dude just came, and he was like, he's a PA dude, he's tough. He wrestled at Fargo. He's just a good dude all around. And then we have Mike Kimball. He totally changed the wrestling culture here. He placed 3rd. He was ranked number 1 when he was a senior. That's Dom and Damien's dad. He's just totally helped out, changed our whole youth. We have 70 kids in our youth room. That's a lot. I think we have to have like 2 practices a day just to have like for the kids. The culture is just totally shifting away from like just not doing wrestling to where everybody wants to do wrestling. He's putting stuff out on Facebook. He's putting stuff on Instagram. He's trying to bring like as many kids that just like want to have fun and just work hard, because that's what I feel like is like the main problem is like there's like a stigma about like wrestling where it's like that's all it is, it's just work hard. But like really, like what's changed our culture is everybody's here to have like fun and just like work and just have a good season, because if like you don't love it, then like your season won't turn out how you want it to be.
Absolutely.
Let's talk about that, because from the outside looking in, people are like, well, wrestling is just like brutal. It's a brutal sport. You're putting yourself through so much physically and obviously mentally. But like you said, your guys are having fun doing what you're doing. What's for you is the most fun part of being a wrestler? What do you love the most about it? What's the part of it that brings you the most joy?
I just like being a part of like my team, especially like my friends, Gavin, Dom, Damien, Trevor. They're all in the room with me. Especially like my friends outside the room, like Josh and Shade. Like they come to our tournaments and they just support us. And that's like probably like my favorite part is just like it's like a family that just wants to come together no matter what.
Yeah, you made a great point. It's got to be fun. You got to have some fun with wrestling, and a lot of people think it's just a grind, but it's only a grind until you get in shape, until you're giving 100%, and you're out there learning things. What is it that you think about, especially in practice? What's the most fun for you?
I like going live. I like just like hand fighting and stuff. I like getting like a little bit physical. I like when like you're almost at like your breaking point. I think that's like my favorite part, like when like you're about to overheat and then you just have to keep pushing and then it's like so fulfilling at like the end of practice because you're like, I can do it. Like, and that's a big thing because that was like a big thing that like our team struggled with a couple years ago is like we didn't like as soon as it got hard, like we would give up. Like we lost against like Liberty when like we shouldn't have lost. It was like we were getting screamed at for losing against them. That was a really bad duel for us. But then I feel after that duel last year, we kind of switched our like mindset to where like it's not a grind. It's just like it doesn't have to be like a bad grind, but it can be like a fun grind.
And we know you're joining us in the middle of the day, so we appreciate that. We're going to let you go, but before we do, just want to make sure that you are able to give out shout-outs and thank yous to people in your life that you know deserve it, that deserve some praise for what they've done for you. So anyone out there that deserves some thank yous and shout-outs?
Yeah, I want to say shout out to my coaches, Micah, Mike, Shane, Cody, Billy. They're all there, and my whole team. From our 106 to our heavyweight, I just want to say thanks for pushing us in the room, and then especially my grandpa, who's put a lot of time into me, he's put money into me, taking me to all these tournaments, and my dad especially. I want to say shout out to my friends, shout out to my girlfriend, just shout out to everybody that's helped me along the way.
All right, Landon, we appreciate you so much taking the time out of the middle of your school day to come on, talk with us about wrestling. We wish you the best of luck the rest of this season, and we hope that all your goals come true and we can see you on the podium in Columbus when state rolls around. Thanks for your time, buddy. We'll see you
Thanks.
Thanks, Landon.
Yep. See ya.
soon. From Southeast, Landon Durston coming on with us. What a great kid. What a great program. Southeast, 5 placers at state last year. They're on if anyone's on the trajectory up, it's definitely Southeast in the wrestling room.
Absolutely, it is. Yeah, and I really love some of the stuff he said. You know, he said his favorite part is when you're at your breaking point, when you're about to overheat and you want to quit, but you push through. And he gave a great reason why, because when practice is over, you've got this new mental hurdle that you've come and gone across and realized, hey, I can do this. It's one of the best and most gratifying feelings about the sport. It was great for him to wrap it up into a statement like that. Like, hey, it's the most fun when you overcome some mental hurdle or some physical hurdle and you show yourself you can do it, because that glow afterwards, that feeling that you have when it's over, is 100% worth it.
Gary, he said that the EOWL was some of the best that he felt this year, and he got to the championship match and did what a lot of kids did in the championship match, fell to a kid from Louisville, because Louisville had an amazing weekend in the EOWL. That leads us right into the overall, results and recap of the EOWL this year. Gary, what do you see out of the results, and what are some big things and takeaways from this year's EOWL?
Well, it was the usual suspects that you see at the top of the tournaments. Louisville was first, Fitch was second, Beaver Local was third, I believe Alliance was fourth. And then if you were watching Chris Gallucci's stories that he posts on the YSN wrestling page, and you saw the champs he gave the belt to, there's a lot of great wrestlers there, a lot of really good wrestlers, a lot of guys that you've seen win tournaments this season. The guys from Beaver Local, the guys from Fitch, the guys from Louisville were all over that page, especially there in those finals. It was, again, the EOWL, one of the best wrestling leagues in the state, and it showed why, because you've got these great wrestlers ranked in the top, 5 in the state in their respective weight classes. When you've got that many guys ranked that high, coming together for one tournament, the cream is going to rise to the top, and you saw that. Those finals, there were a lot of really, really good kids in those finals, and to win a championship there, you had to bring your A game. So I think it was just another weekend of great wrestling from one of the best leagues in the state of Ohio, and those names are names you're going to hear here in about a month, in about 5-6 weeks when we get to the state tournament. Those are the same names that you're going to see there.
We talk about it every year. The EOWL, more than maybe some other tournaments that happen throughout the year, does bring a little bit of pride and jubilation when you know you've done well and you won at EOWL. What do you think it is about this particular weekend that brings kids a lot of pride and excitement when they're able to win at the EOWL?
It's a great tournament. I mean, it means something. If you're an EOWL champ, that's something prideful that you could say. That's something to put on your resume that you'll have forever. And it's one that'll put you on the map for the entire state. If you want people to remember your name and to know who you are, you go to the EOWL tournament and do well. There's no way that they won't. They'll have to remember your name. They'll have to remember who you are, because you put yourself on the map and you've done it against great competition. There are teams from Division 1, 2, and 3 in that tournament, and really great teams from Division 1, 2, and 3 in that tournament. So I think it brings out the best, because you have to. If you want to go there and compete, you have to wrestle your best.
You said that Beaver Local had a very good matchup as well as Louisville. You look at this Beaver Local program, a program that we haven't on yet. We did, right? Wasn't Jake Hughes our first? Am I wrong? I know Chris Gallucci talked to Bobby Buhite in his interview. So we definitely have Beaver Local Wrestling on the page, but talking about them, such a well-rounded program right now this year. Do you think Beaver Local has a chance to make some headways in the team final and the team state tournament?
Oh yeah, yeah. They've got 4 guys that are ranked in the top 5, I believe, top 8. So you're talking about 4 guys. If you get 4 guys to place at the state tournament, you're going to be up there probably in the top 5 to 7, depending on where they place. But they've got they've got 3 guys, I would say, really all 4 of them could be in the finals. I mean, if you were to do that, you're probably looking at the state championship. So they definitely have a chance. There's no doubt in my mind that they have a chance to get there to the top, to be in those top 3 or 5 teams. And if things break their way, who knows? They've got the firepower, and they've got guys who, some guys will say, hey, if this guy gets hot, he could do something. It's not even that. They've got the guys that on a regular day could get to the state finals. So if they do that, if they put all those things together, yeah, they really could make some noise.
And then obviously Louisville was the champions of the EOWL. What are they doing so well? What's Louisville cooking up right now, and how special can this year be for the Leopards?
They're doing the same things that they've always done. They're good top to bottom. They have no holes in that lineup, and even now, I believe this is the second year that they're in Division I. Even moving up that division, they're still really, really good, and they've still got guys ranked in the top 10 and guys that are expected to place to get on the podium in Division I. Louisville's doing Louisville things.
It's another week down, Gary, another week closer to the postseason. What are some things on the horizon that are coming up in the next week that we have to look out for?
You're just going to have your league tournaments are coming up. That's what's coming up. You've got your league and conference tournaments. That's usually how teams wrap up their season. Their dual commitments are coming up to wrapping up here, coming to an end. We will be 3 weeks away from sectionals here this coming Saturday. So finishing up those commitments, and then for me personally, of course, we have the Buck Bailey tournament coming up a week from Saturday. We've got 24, 25 teams coming, and that's really the final tournament, at least locally, around at least a bigger tournament. So that's what we've got coming up, and then we get ready for sectionals on the 28th.
Some stuff that's on our schedule that will be happening over the week that we want to call out. Tonight, a big duel. Louisville, who we've been talking about, goes to Austintown Fitch. That should be fun. They both kind of did their own thing in the EOWL, so those are 2 heavyweight matchups that are going to be real fun to watch. 6 o'clock is the start time for that. Battle of the Crestviews tonight at 5:30 at Crestview. Going to be fun there too. Tomorrow we have a lot of boys wrestling. Garrettsville Garfield goes to Southeast, who we just talked to with Landon. Lakeview goes to Latonia tomorrow. Columbiana going to be at Mineral Ridge. West Branch at Salem. That's always the big rivalry in every sport. Don't care what it is. They'll get up for that duel. And then Shocker going to Wyndham tomorrow. We go to the weekend, and we see Howland at West Branch. Edgewood, Grand Valley, Lakeside, and Pymatuning Valley are all going to Jefferson for a big one. And then Southern goes to Crestview for a duel on Saturday. So those are the ones that are on our in our view for the weekend as well. Gary, like you said, you're getting really close to the Buck Bailey. Not this weekend, not even, but next weekend, right? A week from Saturday. On Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
As it gets closer, do the butterflies start coming? Like, oh, here we go. It's getting almost time to see if we can get this off the ground again.
Oh yeah. I mean, you always get those, feelings. Hey, this is coming up, and with me, it's just a checklist in my head. Do we have this? Do I have that? Do I have the volunteers that I need to help things? Do I have, the food donated that I need? Those are the things that are going through my head, and then, of course, trying to get my team ready, getting them up for the last tournament of the season, and the last tournament of the season being a home one, I think for us makes it even more special because they know that this is it for the regular season, so they want to go out there and wrestle well in the final tournament of the regular season and in front of their home crowd. So yeah, there are always butterflies, always excitement when this tournament comes around, and we're ready to go, ready to have another great tournament. Last year, I think, was probably one of the best Buck Bailey tournaments that we've had. We had some great competition, and we got some really good competition coming back this year. So I'm looking forward to it.
One thing I want to address for any new wrestling Wednesday fans that are out there trying to get into the sport, remember, we're so excited for the basketball tournament draws that are going on the next 3 Sundays with boys and girls basketball. finding out their brackets, but the tournament time for wrestling, you won't know the matchups until right before those happen. So harder to kind of have this big preview show for districts and sectionals for wrestling, because of course they come out with the Thursday before usually they put out the brackets.
Yeah, it's usually that. Yeah, usually the Thursday before, and there might have even been times in the past where it was like Friday. But the way it works is you're assigned to a district, and at least in our district, every team gets points assigned to them. And the way you get your points assigned, or do you have a weight class filled? Is that wrestler one with a winning record or not? Were they a district qualifier? Were they a state qualifier? Were they a state placer? Were they a state champ? And each wrestler gets assigned a certain point total for those different categories or those different accomplishments. And then you add those all together, and it goes into a list from the top to the bottom of, however many teams there are, 50 or 60 teams, whatever. And then it starts from the bottom to the top. You pick which one of the 4 sectionals you want your team to go in. And then if there's a team that has a higher ranking than you that wants to get into a sectional that's full, and you're the first guy up or the one with the lowest points, you get bumped out. That team gets put in, and then you pick another sectional. So there's a lot of strategy that goes into it. And like right now, I have no idea where we're going to wrestle our sectional tournament at. We do that this coming Sunday on Super Bowl Sunday. So I'll at least know that much. But we will not know those brackets until probably the 26th or 27th, and the tournament's on the 28th.
So what we will know and we'll be able to talk about next week at least is where these teams will be wrestling,
right.
Not necessarily who they're going to be matched up with, but we'll know where everyone's going, and we can talk about that next week as well as the things and the results that we get from the coming week. Gary, before we let you go, because you were on the call last night for a pretty good basketball game, want to get your chance to talk about it. Columbiana gets the win over Wellsville 68-63, but man, the Tigers put up a really big fight against the EOAC leading Clippers. What did you see out of this matchup?
It was a really great matchup. A couple really, evenly matched teams. Wellsville really played them tough. They played them tough the first time around. I really think the difference in the game was Columbiana finished at the basket underneath. They had really a couple guys that played really tough underneath them, and they were able to finish when they got there. And, the 5-point game, Wellsville was winning most of the first half. Then they got down big in the third quarter. They went really cold in the third quarter, down 13. They were able to storm back. Darnell Rowe had a great game. I believe he had 31 points, and Austin Atkins got really, really hot in that second half. They were both hitting threes from 4 or 5 feet behind the 3-point line, keeping Wellsville in it. But, at the end of the day, Columbiana they did their job and were able to get a lead and keep it there in the last minute and a half or so. But, Wellsville team is one that you can't take lightly, that I feel like anybody on their schedule they could beat on any given night. Columbiana they're athletic, they're long, they're athletic, and they have, a rotation of about 8 guys who keep them fresh, and they all just come in and they can all do just about anything.
We have great basketball matchups on the docket tonight. Make sure to check out ysnlive.com/live to see where we'll be at. And also we'll have a graphic that comes out every day. It'll come out soon on our social medias. It'll tell you what games we have on the network. But for now, let's go to our great sponsor, one of our favorite sponsors, Joe Dickey Electric. Everything electrical can be found at DickeyElectric.com, and they're the sponsors of our daily What's Your Spark? And here we go. All right, Gary, you know the drill. Every Wednesday we do it. What is your spark today, buddy?
Hey, last night at that basketball game at halftime, the elementary cheerleaders for Wellsville came out and put on a performance in front of the crowd. It was really, really nice to see the elementary kids be able to come out and experience a high school game, to get to participate. The cheerleading coaches announced every single kid that was out there on the floor, and this is, I believe, from kindergarten through 6th grade. They were all out there. They had a blast. The crowd really was cheering them on from both sides, from Columbiana and from Wellsville. So my spark today goes to the elementary cheerleaders.
My spark today goes out to Coach Christopher Bees. And if you have not found him on social media, you should go look it up. It's this 6-year-old kid, maybe 6, maybe 7, 6, 7. Woo. But he's a very young kid that his dad's the basketball coach wherever I don't know where they're located necessarily, but he kind of roams the sidelines like his dad, and he coaches. And they get him mic'd up. He's hilarious. He's great. I love it. I want him to coach our All-Star game. I would move mountains if I could get him to come and coach our guys up, because it's great. Like, he knows what to say. He's drawing up plays on his dry erase board, you know, and he's calling guys out. And I'm like, can you imagine getting called out by a 6-year-old? Like, dude, you're not boxing out. You're not rebounding. You gotta rebound the ball. There's one that he's like, you're scared to rebound the ball. He's scared to rebound the ball. He has to stand there like this. It's hilarious. If you haven't seen him, go watch Coach Christopher Bees. It's real fun to watch. And man, if you have a passion for coaching at a young age, we love it, because obviously we've heard all the noise about how there's a coaching shortage and no one wants to coach anymore. So I love seeing young kids passionate about coaching, because that's what they see people in their lives do. So it's really fun. So if you're a young kid out there and you're passionate about coaching, let us know and let everyone know, because we need a little bright spot. We need a spark at the light at the end of the tunnel, because right now it's kind of like doom and gloom in the coaching community, where we're losing coaches and no one wants to coach anymore. So when I see young kids passionate about coaching, whether it be 6-year-olds, 15-year-olds, I don't care. I get fired up. So, because we need more good coaches. So keep it up out there. And go find Chris Bees on social media, because it'll give you a good laugh.
Yeah, you're making a great point. That a lot of people don't want to coach anymore. It's really hard. Coaching's not easy. You've got to wear 15 different hats. You've not only got to coach the sport, you've also got to be a tutor, an Uber driver, a diplomat. You've got to be a great communicator. You've got to do a million things. But it's, as somebody who's done this is my 20th year coaching, my 11th as a high school head coach. It's the most rewarding thing you'll ever do in your life, maybe outside of being a parent. So don't knock it before you try it. Yeah, it's hard, but it's also rewarding, and nothing good in life comes easy. Every
time I ask a new coach what the biggest thing that they didn't expect was going to be a big thing, they say the paperwork. So also don't forget, gonna have to fill out a lot of stuff. A lot of paperwork, a lot of filling out boxes and checking boxes and signing things for your kids. So make sure you know what you're walking into on that side of things. That'll do it for today's show. We want to thank you guys for tuning in. Want to definitely thank Landon for coming on in the middle of the school day. We appreciate him. Also, we appreciate Southeast School District for kind of letting him come on in the middle of the day. We know a lot of schools now are kind of really locking down on this no technology during school hours thing. So we've had some trouble getting kids on, but wrestling wise, we've had nothing but love from the schools that we've reached out to that help us get these student athletes on during the day. So we want to thank them for kind of laxing a little bit in that rule, because we know it taken very seriously for good reasons, but we're not trying to do anything weird. We're not trying to, give this kid answers on his test while he's, and guess what? Choose B. It's always B. We just want to give these kids a limelight and kind of prop them up on a pedestal for 15 minutes. So we want to thank Southeast schools and all the schools that kind of let their student athletes come on during the day. We appreciate it, and we appreciate all you once again for tuning in to a couple of morons that like talking about sports every day. That's what we are. Tomorrow it'll be me and myself, and I, as DJ Oakley, will be doing the noon game at Liberty versus Lisbon. It's going to be a fun one. The girls traveling to the girl Lisbon Blue Devils traveling to Liberty for the noon game. DJ Oakley will be there. I will have a guest in Juliana Crumpack, the newest member of the 1,000 Point Club in the McDonald girls basketball program. She'll be joining us at 12:15. Dakota Kotzel will also come on the show to be a part of that interview, since he was on the call for that moment. So it'll be a fun one tomorrow. Don't miss it. Until then, everybody, thank you so much for tuning in. We'll be better tomorrow like we always are, and may the sports be with you.
YSN thanks you for watching this presentation of Your Sports Network. For stories, stats, and more, go to ysnlive.com.